Hey guys, Travis here for GameSpot Esports. Inside Riot HQ, we're actually got the games going on behind us out of the studio, and I'm joined by Doublelift here at the LCS NA qualifiers. So first off, are you hoping that your team will qualify Doublelift?
Yeah, dude, it's going to be a rough path for Season 3, but hopefully we can pull it through.
Well, obviously you've already qualified, so but you're here, and I saw you last night. You tweeted that it's fun to watch all the dreams get crushed. So is that why you're here? You're just scoping out and looking for tiers and hoping to feed off of that for Season 3?
Yeah, pretty much. It's really funny because this level, like, obviously these are all just amateur teams, and then the really, really bad teams, they just get stomped, and it's hilarious. Yeah. Yep.
It just reaffirms your trash philosophy?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know, I really think it's funny when two bad teams play, and the less bad team will somehow, like, scope out a win, and, like, I don't know, it's just fun to watch.
So anyway, let's talk about CLG. Are you guys here like interested to see who makes it through? Like, is it kind of fun for you to see like who you're going to be playing in just about a month or 3 weeks or so?
I don't really think it's not so important right now, like the name of the team or the name of the players, but like after a few games of watching them, like a few months of watching them and seeing how they play, that's what's really important. It's not so much like this right now, it's just like their amateur entryway in.
Really good. So CLG, obviously you guys have this new roster. Afro moves coming in. I don't think he's moved in yet, right?
No, he's coming in pretty soon though. He's like basically setting up to move in because he's lived at home his whole life. So like, yeah, he's like buying stuff and just getting ready to move in, and he's gonna come in soon.
So you guys ready to like hardcore practice? I heard you said something in your bi-monthly double that you were gonna end up having this like crazy scrim schedule. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we should be practicing 5-6 days a week with 1 or 2 days break. Probably like anywhere from 6 to 11 hours a day, and like it sounds really bad at first, and then I realized like it's just what you have to do to stay competitive, especially if you just want to stomp the NA scene, which is really weak right now. It's just the easiest way, you know. You just practice more than your opponents. You're more skilled, naturally skilled than your opponents, and so you'll essentially just rake in the profit of doing that. And I want to finally win. Like, I've never won first place in any LAN before, so I just want to do it finally.
So, you know, I don't mean any offense that I say this, but in the past you guys have sort of said you're going to have these big scrim schedules, you guys are going to get better with a lot of practice, and then a lot of people see you guys streaming Street Fighter or, you know, whatever. So do you have some sort of mechanism in place to make sure that you stick to that schedule?
We always basically stuck to our scrim schedule. That's like the misconception is like, yeah, because you see us streaming like 5-6 hours a day playing random stuff, like you don't think we're practicing, but we've all, especially in Korea, we were Koreans in Korea. We practiced 10 hours a day, every single day in Korea, almost no breaks. And like the biggest problem was just we had like really big team problems, and it's like a learning process, you know, to change your roster, to change like the team mindset, and especially now we have management to make sure if, like practice just isn't practice. Like you're not just grinding through and you're like, oh god, like another scrim. So we have Kelpie now. He's our manager, and like he's gonna make sure our practice is good.
So who is Kelpie, by the way? Like, can you give me a little bit more information about him?
Basically just some asshole who tells us what to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Okay. So I mean, was he a friend or something, or did he come in? Like, what was the deal?
I'd probably just label him as more of like a fanboy. And yeah, he was basically just like Hotshot's lover or something, and he got into a management position. Don't really know how.
All right. I see. All right. Well, moving on. Are you pretty confident with your new lineup? Like, I know that you said on Twitter or something like that that Afro like has a lot of strengths that people don't really tend to realize, and so they might underestimate him. But if I recall, you sort of had similar statements about Loco. You know, like what's to say that this isn't going to become sort of another Loco Doco situation where he comes in and is going to try out for support and actually doesn't end up going through?
Well, what I also said in my daily double is Afro has a lot of work he needs to do to like actually make those strengths worth it. And the same thing was for Loco. I was like, Loco's good in his own way, but like he needs to practice the game and like have the right attitude so he can use those strengths. And he never did. And like I can't promise that Afro is going to be an amazing sport. I honestly can't. But like it seems to me it's more promising than Loco because his attitude is not so. Like Loco was like full on Korean attitude, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be great. And he just never delivered. He was like, you know, pretty lazy. And Afro seems very like reasonable with his attitude, you know. So it's probably gonna be a lot better with him.
So I heard a rumor recently that you have some sort of like mental trick that allows you to have a lot faster reflexes, like almost as if you see the world at, you know, like a slower speed so that you can react quicker. Can you go more into like that? And is this something that CLG as a whole is going to start, doing to get an edge up on the competition?
Yeah, so we all Bowflex for at least 2 hours. No, I'm just kidding. Like I sleep like 13 hours a day. I don't know if everyone who follows me on Twitter knows because I post this like every day. Like, damn, I slept like 14 hours today. That was intense. So I think actually I've altered the space-time continuum for myself, and so like when I'm in game, time and when I'm awake, time slows down because I just like sleep so much and time is so messed up for me. And like actually, if you kind of like if I look back on my past tournament performances and how team fights go, it's legitimately like time is at half speed for me. Like, and then I look back and I'm like, wow, that happened in like an instant. But in my mind, it happened like really, really slow. So I don't know. That's just like an edge I have up on other AD players, I guess.
Do you think that this is something like an ancient AD carry secret? Like Wei Zhao is also like sleeping 14 hours a day just to get those reflexes going?
I don't know, man. Wei Xiao's on some crazy drugs or something. That guy's just good. He's good. And hopefully, actually, I want to say something about Wei Xiao. Like, people will always, like, pit me against him and, like, be like, who's better, who's better? Like, it's not really that important, honestly. Like, who's better AD? Like, because the lane is two people. So you'll never really know who's a better player and who's a better lane until, like, we play each other. And we haven't played World Elite in so long. It makes me sad.
Okay, so my next question is, who's a better AD carry, you or Wei Zhao?
Me, obviously.
So that was pretty simple. I saw you earlier hanging out with Clicky D and Nick Wu, talking about some Street Fighter links there, etc. Like, is it cool for you to see like some of these fighting game guys come in, or Team Marn or whatever?
Yeah, I'm actually really new to fighting games. Some people have been around like playing fighting games competitively and like looking at it for like 15 years and stuff. But I'm pretty new. Only been like watching and playing for like a year or maybe like a year and a half. And I guess it's really cool to see like fighting game essentially gods. Like they're just as good as their respective game as like I am at mine. It's just a different game, and like it's fun to play against them because I just get smashed and like it's just fun. I really respect fighting game players, and these guys who switch from fighting games learn the game like this. They're like really fast learners and really smart.
Really cool. So, looking at all the different teams that are here, we're about halfway through the tournament at this point. Have there been any upsets or anything that you've been surprised by, or has everybody? I mean, Fear's the only one that's actually gotten through so far. But out of the teams that have been eliminated and the teams that are still here, are there any surprises for you personally?
No, I didn't think Cloud9 was that great. We scrimmed them and we would lose a lot of the games, but I saw their weaknesses as a team was like they tunneled. Okay, a lot of these amateur teams do the same mistake every single time. They tunnel on picks, and they have these like really gimmicky, kind of actually stupid level 1 all-ins, and half the time they just don't work because they never really thought it through because these guys have no experience. And Cloud9 is just like the biggest culprit of tunneling on picks and team comps when they don't actually work, and their level 1s are just really sloppy. And just looking at those weaknesses, I thought like, yeah, they're probably going to lose at some point because they're just like, they're good individual players, they just don't have like the team thing going.
All right, so we do already have Fear going through, so why don't you give me the next 4 teams that are actually going to qualify into this season?
I think Marn, Brunch Club, Curse, and damn, what was the other one? Oh, Azure.
Okay. Why Azure? Because they're kind of like a team that I think a lot of people don't know so much. Is it just Bloodwater so good, or?
Yeah, people give a lot of credit to Demon Law. He's okay. He's the guy I said like, oh, their bot lane's trash. Like that was the first time I said that in regionals or whatever. He's a good player. The real star of that team is honestly Bloodwater. I think he's like really just a solid support, and he's like what really pulls their team together. And I don't know, I just don't really see the other teams beating them. A lot of the other teams have like overrated players and such, and like Azure is just like 5 pretty solid players.
Looking at all the teams that are coming in, and we're going to have this like solid 8-team setup, and I know you guys are kind of scoping out people to move into your gaming house, etc. Like, do you think that, when I think we talked a little while ago, and I've talked to a lot of different pro players that are concerned about the North American scene and its competitiveness in the international scene, especially given the limited amount of time that we'll see you guys play against Europeans and Asian teams. Do you think that now having this better structure, having these teams come in, they're being solid time, you guys screaming more, you'll have a chance against Asian teams in a way that maybe North America hadn't previously?
I don't know. Like this whole practice thing, I think like what really matters internationally is like just basically who wants it more. Practice partners I thought was really important for a while, and it is important, but it's not as important as just preparing yourself mentally and just making sure you're on top of like your mechanics. Like the best example is just TPA. They honestly, I can't imagine them playing against top tier teams before Worlds. Like they played against Korean teams, yeah, they probably played a lot, but they didn't practice against top tier teams. There's nothing really like that in Taiwan anyways. So, and they won Worlds. So that's like the perfect example of you don't really need the best practice partners to be the best, I think.
Really cool. So last question, very important. I understand that Hotshot is power leveling some characters in WoW with you and Link. So are you guys hoping to also branch out, CLG branch out into WoW and sort of go back in time and create like a competitive WoW team?
Hell no, dude. Some of these WoW players are really good, but I was good in my day, and I'm sure the rest of our team is smart enough to pick up the game. And like we're just playing for fun. We just want to PvP and just like have another game that we play in our off time.
All right. So do you have any shout outs to fans or anything?
Yeah, just I guess shout out to all my fans. Like a lot of my stuff has been posted on Reddit, and it's like really awesome that my fans are like that. And shout out to Razor XMG, Own 3D, and we have like new apparel at GGWP. Good game, well played. So check that out. Like I have a new shirt. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, you have a Doublelift shirt, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, hey, thanks a ton for the interview. Looking forward to you guys come out to the studio in just a couple of weeks and play against all these different teams. Hope you have a good rest of the NA qualifiers. For everyone, this is Travis with GameSpot Esports. You can check out the rest of our LCS NA qualifier coverage at gamespot.com/esports.